Prasanna Jayawardene of Sri Lankan wicketkeeper and Graham Smith of South Africa. They were all early in Broad's career, and I was looking at the records of bowlers who've taken 150 or more Test wickets, of which there are 112, and their averages after 20 matches. And we're talking about how Shai Hope has had a sort of slow start to his career, but still has a lot of potential.
Woakes begins a new over. Bowls to Brathwaite. Brathwaite's up on his toes, knocking it into the leg side. Broad comes in from mid-on, cannot prevent the single. 112 for 2.
And in the top 8 worst averages after 20 tests of bowlers who've gone on to take 150 or more wickets, Stuart Broad, Jimmy Anderson and Ben Stokes all feature, as does Andrew Flintoff. So interesting in that generation of England bowlers, in a number who've started slowly in their Test careers and through some more selectorial patience than there might have been in the 80s and 90s and hard work and personal improvement, have gone on to become great Test bowlers. So it's an interesting tale of how players can improve after a fairly prolonged, moderate start to their careers.
Here's Woakes bowling to Hope now, and Hope lifts the bat and lets the ball go through to Buttler.
I wasn't really listening there to Andy. It was quite a long one for him, but I'll tell you who will be listening is my mum. Actually, it's kind of been a theme of this Test match for me. It's getting obviously an end of day report from my mother.
What about your commentary?
Well, a little bit about the commentary, but also about the game and what's happened to her. We kind of have mentioned it actually a couple of times, and obviously yesterday, we didn't play yesterday, but she still sent me a little report through.
Here's Woakes bowling. A good one. Slides past the edge of Hope's bat, very close to it, close to off stump as well. He had to play at it. Woakes took it away from Hope. Close to a breakthrough. Really good ball from Woakes.
So I've actually got 2 days worth, because obviously yesterday we weren't on air, and actually some of them, she said she hadn't realised I'd been to the space station. She said I kept that pretty quiet, obviously, when everyone was the celebrity stuff. One of them was the stats that I produced are amazing, so you'll be having that. And
even though her son doesn't listen to them, Woakes bowls and that's pushed back by Hope into the offside up towards mid-off, and there's no run.
She said the stats I produced are amazing. What they can find, they obviously think there's more than one of you.
I've got a warehouse of an infinite number of monkeys churning these things out,
and knowing where to look. So you're a massive fan there, Andy. So that's one of them. And then obviously, what was yesterday's one? So yesterday started off, we've obviously spoken a lot. Did the sushi materialise? Hope the weather is better here because it's mizzling. This is this morning.
Woakes to Hope. He edges that down into the slip cordon. It's stopped at a fourth slip really. Crawley's a gap between Stokes at second and Crawley at fourth.
And how did I feel my time yesterday? So that was kind of her updated last 2 days. But I thought Andy would be pleased to have heard that one there.
Yeah. She's obviously a really loving, caring mother. Do you replicate that? Do you reciprocate that, I should say?
I hope so, some of the time.
Okay.
Where are you leading with that, Simon?
I might replay the conversation we had off air before you came on. Here is Woakes bowling outside the off stump, and there's no straight from Hope.
Well, no, we're not. I don't know where you're going with that one, but I don't know how we end up talking about mums and Mother's Day cards and stuff. And we sent one. We sent one a couple of years ago, and I said my mum said it was the first time she'd received Mother's Day card from me for a while, ever, I think.
Right.
And I said, well, Alice has sent it, and so just working out why. But then I don't know where I'm going really. So I didn't send her Mother's Day cards for a while, and you weren't very happy, were you, Simon?
Well, I thought it was a bit sad.
Okay, sorry, but she gets them now every year.
Good.
I was told I'm under strict instructions by Alice.
112 for 2. Alice being your wife.
Yeah.
For those who don't know. This is Bess then. Bowling from the Statham end to Brathwaite, who works that through the offside. Plenty of bottom hand in the drive. Nicely played. And they're coming back for 3. Broad sending in the return to the non-striker's end. And West Indies go to 115 for 2. Remember, their first target really is 270. And that means they don't have to follow on with time slipping away. That will put a lot of pressure on England in this game to try to force a positive result in their favour. Already 1 day down. Shai Hope. There's 3 men around the bat. Again, Bess moves in and then pulls out of the delivery. bowling his sunglasses on a bright day in Manchester. Bess bowls to Hope, who's back and flicking that away towards straight mid-wicket, and there's no run. Just a fraction short there, allowing Hope to go onto the back foot and work it. Big day for Bess, this. Can he make something happen on the pitch that is helpful to him? That's outside the off stump. A round arm delivery and forced away by Hope towards extra cover. It's picked up by the tall figure of Crawley. Hope settles again. He's batting, I think just outside off stump. That's where he's taken his guard. Bess bowls to him. Spins down the leg side. There's a appeal for a catch from the close cordon there. Not so much from Bess, really. Looked towards the umpire and held his arm up. Must have been a sound there. One of Jonathan's sounds on the way through. The only thing about the appeal earlier, if there was a sound like, because I didn't have my headphones on, is that they only show on TV, they only show a short distance, so the sound might have happened before it got there to that bat area, or after it had gone past, whatever it might be, like a creaky glove or something. His Bess bowling a ball down the leg side, and Hope tries to whip it away, and sort of low pull really, struck him on the body, and drops down to Buttler, who picks up, and there's no run. England, I just can't help feel they're crying out for a left armour here, so left arm spinner.
I think they are now, this, in terms of how many right-handers on this wicket West Indies have.
Bess bowls, Hope is back, playing that nicely towards short leg on the bounce. Picked up by Pope, and that's the end of Bess's over. So he's bowled 10 overs, 1 for 26. It's 115 for 2. West Indies have faced 40 overs. Don't worry too much about that scoring rate. It's just a question of that target. Batting time, getting up to that 270 first stop.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of Joe Root just before lunch. He's got a knack of picking up wickets and certainly changing the angle. He will probably bowl around the wicket. He's a better bowler bowling around the wicket than he is over the wicket. And I think, with 10 minutes to go, just change the angle up off spin. Both these guys are batting quite a long way outside off stump, or on off stump, trying to get their pad outside the line, which is very, a legitimate technique to do. But obviously you couldn't do that if Rooty came or Don Bess came around the wicket. That might bring LBW into play.
Yeah, here's Woakes bowling a new over, and Brathwaite plays away from his body then and inspects the toe of his bat. Goes down towards backward point, and there's no run. Of course, Root, they nearly got a test fifer. Where was that? Was that Port Elizabeth? He kept on. Remember, he kept on bowling.
Oh, and then they were slogging a few.
Yeah, he kept on bowling.
Trying to buy a wicket.
Trying to get that 5th wicket.
It was the last wicket, wasn't it? The last.
I think it was. Yeah. And there's a big partnership. I have to dig into my notes.
The partnership was 99.
Here's Woakes bowling down the leg side and taken by Buttler. I think the last wicket was a run out in the end, wasn't it? I
think that's right. It was in Port Elizabeth, second innings, 4 for 87. But he had been 4 for about 30 from memories. We covered it on the Cricket Social. England won by an innings and 53 runs. And the 10th wicket stand between Dane Patterson and Keshav Maharaj added 99 before Maharaj was run out.
He's a good strike of the ball, Maharaj.
He made 71 in that game. Woakes ball stuck on the pad. Good shout for LBW. This one not out, says umpire Goff. It looked quite straight. It looked well worth a big shout. And Root is consulting with his bowler. What's he saying there, Root? Did he get outside the line?
Well, I've given it out from here.
Yeah,
I've gone straight away, but Brathwaite has been getting probably the one of Stuart Broad. He got outside the line from, but Chris Woakes has just indicated he thought he nipped and gone down the leg. So I think it's quite close. It's going to be high, I think, if anything. Umpires go height.
Yeah.
My finger goes straight up. Maybe a little bit of home bias then.
Yeah, we might have an umpire's call in this one. And we do. On leg stump. Top of leg stump.
Good decision. Another good decision from umpire Goff.
Woakes bowls. And Brathwaite in behind that. Playing it quietly back down the pitch. Woakes bends down to pick up. And there is no run.
There's been quite a few umpires' calls in height, hasn't there? You think, and that's quite pretty full from Chris Woakes. But England, I can remember, did England have 4 or 5 from Holder in particular? they were just clipping the top of the barrels. I think they're the right decision to give a not out. You feel pretty unlucky as a batsman to give a not out, to be given out then, sorry.
There have been a lot of umpires' calls in this series. Just, that one's flicked away by Brathwaite, forward a square for 2. Pope is after it. Right towards the nets area of the ground. Normally we have that huge stand here at Old Trafford. You'll notice a white wall of adverts with the sponsors of the ground and the Raise the Bat, hashtag Raise the Bat, the Raise the Bat series, and the big ECB logo together through this test. 117 for 2 with those runs to Brathwaite. He's on to 41, looking very solid today. Woakes, this is the 12th over, no wicket for 27, goes in now, bowls to Brathwaite, and Brathwaite right in behind that one as well, defending back up the pitch. In fact, if Woakes hadn't picked it up, I think it would have hit the middle stump at the non-striker's end. End of Woakes is over, close one in that over, but not quite for England. Woakes 12 overs for 27 runs, 117 for 2, 5 minutes to 1. Might have time for 2 more overs, especially with Bess bowling one of them.
These the Stokes, Anderson, Broad statistics from their first 20.
Pay attention. Pay attention.
I'll try.
It's all right for some who start their test careers in a blaze of glory, but it's not that easy for everyone. Ben Stokes averaged 40.6 with the ball after his first 20 tests. Since then, 28.2. Stuart Broad, 40.2 his average after his first 20 tests. Since then, 27.1. And Jimmy Anderson, 39.2 after 20 tests spread over about 5 years. Since then, he's averaged 25.4. So all of those amongst the biggest improvements in terms of average in their first 20 tests compared with the rest of their careers of bowlers who've gone on to take 150 wickets.
Now, while Andy was giving us those stats, the umpires they're cleaning the ball. They've got one of those wipes out, and one side of the ball is being cleaned.
Now,
what does that mean?
Well, have one of the England players accidentally licked their fingers and rubbed and cleaned the ball and shine the ball, so therefore they have to then clean it. Now, do you get a warning for it? Do you get penalty runs if you do it 5 times? But it looked like they just shined you just wiped the shiny side. So extra cleaning for it, but I've never seen that.
No, nor me. Umpire Golf, he took one of those wipes out of his unwrapped it and wiped one side of the ball. There is a penalty for putting saliva on the ball, I should say. It's a 5-run penalty, but it doesn't come in straight away. Look at the regulations. Hopefully we won't get there. Here is Bess bowling outside the off stump, stabbing defensive shot from Hope, thick inside edge along the ground. I can see Root loosening up at slip, so presumably he's going to have 1 over before lunch. That's the length. Tuffers wants Bess to bowl that.
And that line?
Yeah, in between leg, drawing the batsman forward into a defensive shot. So he's been a bit too short, a bit too full. Bess bowls, and he's right back into stumps there. Hope, covering everything, pads together as well. And then he comes down the pitch to do some guarding. He's very conscious that we're moving towards 1 o'clock. I think there will be time for 1 more over, unless the ball's smacked around a bit. 3 close catches go down. Bess bowls, and forward goes Hope on the drive. Goes to Crawley, extra cover.
I wonder now, maybe a silly point could come in from. They've got deep backward, Curran deep mid wicket, whether he could go to deep backward square leg. The guy at square leg could come in front on the offside, just to give Hope something different to think about with 3 or 4 balls to go before lunch.
Bess bowls to Hope, clipped away with the spin, and it goes out to Sibley.
Nothing.
Deep mid wicket.
Well, he'd only got 1 for it, hopefully. But just something in your head, something different visual for the batsman to think about.
2 balls left in the over, 118 for 2, Hope to 25 with that single. Now Brathwaite on strike. Here is Bess bowling, back into his stumps. He was playing French cricket with that. Bess thought he got through, but Brathwaite was equal to it. Right back, watching it carefully, getting the bat down. Seemed to keep a fraction lower, that one, but it did scuttle through.
It's very full. Very, very full to go back to, but Brathwaite's obviously on the tactical side of batting. He said, I'm not going to come forward, short leg in and leg slip.
That's Fuller, right forward goes Brathwaite. This time plays it comfortably back to the bowler, who picks up No run, end of the over. We will have time for a route over. 118 for 2. Brathwaite 41, Hope 25. Here are the playing conditions on that. Polishing the ball. The fielder may polish the ball on his clothing provided that no artificial substance or saliva is used. If the umpire believes that saliva has been applied to the ball, the umpire shall, if it's a first instance during the innings, summon the captain of the fielding side and issue a first warning. If it's a second instance during the innings, summon the captain of the fielding side and issue a second and final warning, and warn the captain of the fielding side that any further such offence by any member of the team during the innings shall result in the award of 5 penalty runs to the batting side. The third or subsequent instance, award 5 penalty runs to the batting side. So there we go. So you got 2 warnings. I did see the umpire raise his finger. I don't know whether England got 1 warning or not.
And it also said the ball shall not be changed, where the umpire should wipe the ball with an appropriate cloth. So they did that. So that's what must have happened. We haven't seen any video evidence.
Right, here is route then. Around the wicket to bowl, and forward goes Hope. Is this Root's first ball since he was smashed out of the attack in Port Elizabeth, or did he bowl in the Centurion test that followed? Look, Wanderers.
Sky apparently suggesting that Dom Sibley admitted using saliva on the ball.
Right, okay. Here's Root bowling round the wicket. Hope clips that towards mid-on, and there's no run.
Yeah.
He bowled in the one-day series, actually. No, it's not. It's first ball full stop since being smacked out of the attack in Port Elizabeth. That one's clipped towards mid-wicket, and there is no run. 118 for 2. It's a change of angle. The off-spinner coming round the wicket. Alistair suggested that a little earlier. Hope clips that firmly. So Sibley at mid-wicket again, and there's no run. 2 balls left in the route over. He's got 3 close catches as well. Root rolls into bowl, and it's outside the Ossom across the right-hander there, and Hope pushes it away to cover, and there's no run. It's a breezy day here at Old Trafford. It is bright, plenty of blue sky, the wind is blowing. Root, last ball before lunch, bowls, and forward goes Hope, defends it into the offside, and that is a very good morning session for West Indies. They started at 32 for 1. They have only lost 1 wicket, that of the night watchman Alzarri Joseph, who rode his luck, it's fair to say, but did a good job for his side. He made 32, survived for 50 balls. Well, survived 49 balls. On his 50th ball, he was caught by Pope at short leg off Bess. And that was in Bess's first over. That was 70 for 2. Shai Hope, who's been short of runs, has played nicely, and Kraigg Brathwaite has looked, well, as Sibley looked in the first innings, very, very solid. The 2 of them walking off at lunch.
Yeah, both these 2 have played very nicely. I was expecting maybe a little bit more happening sideways movement off the pitch. West Indies managed to just nip the ball, and England haven't really, I would say, managed to get too much nip. Chris Woakes has bowled well with swing, so has Sam Curran swung it, but not so much nip. So yeah, it hasn't. 1 ball's bounce from Dom Bess. More than we expected, but yeah, West Indies will be very happy with that. And I suppose we've got to remember still a day 3 wicket. No play yesterday. You're talking about on day 4 being more deterioration, but still a day 3 wicket. But West Indies were snapped your hand off of that this morning, especially the 1 wicket being just a night watchman.
No Stokes so far in this England bowling innings. What do you think about that?
Well, he didn't bowl that much, did he, last week? Certainly towards the end of the. He bowled quite a lot in the first innings, but that second innings he'd only bowled 4 overs going into that last session. Everyone's saying, well, that's just him being captain. There's and he kind of almost forgot about himself. I think there must be a little underlying issue somewhere in his body that he hadn't bowled, because if he doesn't start straight away, he's a bowler who makes things happen, and as a captain he's obviously flying with 170 in form with the bat. You'd probably give him a go. So yeah, there might be a little issue. They say he can only bowl 15. He doesn't want to bowl more than 10 overs a day or something. I don't know, but you'd thought he'd be one to go to.
I mean, there's some logic in Joe Root's bowling plans this morning. Broad and Woakes to start with, and then Curran, Bess into the attack, bowled a lot of overs.
So it could just be a case of that.
There's not room for Stokes so far, possibly.
Absolutely, but you'd think he's a man who would make who does make things happen. But you're right, England do have a lot of options up their sleeve.
Root has used 5 bowlers so far.